Yo, what's going on?
What's up?
Hello, hello.
Happy Friday, people.
Happy Friday.
All right. So today we're going to dive into appointment setting framework for coaches. And really just going to dive into how do we have conversations? How do we get people to book a call with us? And what are those steps and oftentimes the mistakes that are made in trying to do that? So if you don't know who I am, my name is Mike Krause, and I'm the CEO and co-founder of AR Funnel. I am here with my business partner, Mr. Baker Shields, and our onboarding specialist and funnel builder, Miss Felicity. Welcome, guys.
Hello,
What's
hello.
up? Happy to be here. I'm excited. This is a big one. I think that a lot of coaches struggle with is just figuring out, we all come in with our coach's hat and we think just like showing up and coaching people is the majority of the job. And really, appointment setter or closer or marketer or salesman, like all of those things are other hats that you really have to learn and be able to put on to be successful in the space. So
Yeah.
this one's a very important one because if you can't get people booked on your consultation calls, you can't sell them, right? So we need to have the art of appointment setting down to a T as coaches. So that's what we're going to try to kind of talk about an intro for you guys today.
Absolutely. So if you're one of those coaches that says, man, if I can just talk to them, I can sell them. Well, this is going to be the framework of helping you get people on the phone so that you can actually talk to them. Because I don't care how great of a coach you are, you're not going to grow your business just through your results. You're going to be able to have to be persuasive. You're going to have to be comforting, understanding, knowing they got to meet the lead where they're at, not where we want them to be. Trust me, I want everybody to whip out their credit card and just pay me. However, it doesn't necessarily work like that. And so it's not always the best coaches that get the most clients. It's those that understand marketing, understand people, understand the art of persuasion, and then also just being able to close as a whole. But I also think that a lot of great coaches, like you are good at selling, but we got to get to the selling, and that becomes the difficult part. So one of the main things that we ask coaches when we first start working with them is like, well, how do you get your leads? How do you get your clients? And most of them like just word of mouth and people that reach out. And that's not really appointment setting. Like that's shooting fish in a barrel. But that's also not enough to actually grow the business, right? We need more than just referrals and we need more than just hot leads. And so if we actually want to grow the business realistically above a six-figure mark, like we've got to get really good at having these conversations. So Baker, where do we want to start today on having these conversations with people, trying to get them booked on our calendar?
I think let's start with like what are the sources of typical conversations that you should pursue as appointment setting. Let's start with two in particular. New followers. Let's start there, and then because I think everybody has that, and they can immediately
Totally.
tap into that. And then number two, let's talk about conversations from lead magnets and how to transition those into a call.
Sure. So I've always done this. I did this with my coffee company, and I'll start here just so you can get a good grasp on things we're going to dive into. Because my entire background is like, yes, I was a personal trainer. Yes, I went online in 2012. Yes, I was terrible. But then I got into e-commerce and understood a lot about spending money to try to attract leads, but really the focus of getting leads. And then how do I have conversations with those leads and then new followers or people that's coming into the business? So in the company that I had, the coffee company, every new follower that we would get, we would basically say, hey, what's going on, name? And we'd send that message. Message one. Okay. First piece of advice, don't send new followers like this big, long, bulky one message. They're going to assume that's fake. They're going to assume that it's automated. And as much as we want to try to automate the processes so that we could not only speed that up, but we got to keep it humanized. Okay. We got to stay real. So I want to send one message of basically saying, hey, what's going on, person's name. Second message I like to do is say, I just want to say thank you so much for the follow, appreciate the love and support, whatever, how you want to word that, showing appreciation for that person showing up to your page. Then what we want to do is always ask a question. Now, if we can ask a binary question, it's going to be better. And either a lot of people make the mistake of A, sending a statement with a period, let me know if you need anything. It's like, well, that's never led to a question, right? It's always like, will do, which just ends it, or they give you the good old double tap, right? The heart, which then you're like, well, dang, that went nowhere. I guess no one wants to actually work with me. It's like, well, not your fault. You ended it. Okay. Periods, end conversations, questions, start them. So I like to ask a binary question. Inside the Confident Company, we would say, I just always love to ask all of everybody that comes to our new community, do you prefer to drink your coffee black or with a little bit of cream? And from there, it's a very simple, easy question. Like, I prefer to have mine with a little bit of cream. Me too. I'm a big wuss. Can't do the dark. I can't do the black coffee. Right? Now we create some type of humor. And then from there, I say, do you prefer to like dark roast or light roast? I'm light roast. Me too. Cream and light. It's the best. And then from there, say, do you prefer to have it like hot or iced? I prefer hot. Well, I've got actually 2 or 3 options I think you would really love from our company based on everything you just said. So they didn't know that they were setting themselves up for suggestions, but we just put them down this binary path to be like, because you like light roast, because you like your coffee with a little bit of flavor and not so bold and dark, or I'm going to suggest you do the messy bun, or I'm going to suggest you do the vanilla hazelnut. Like, these are 2 really great flavors based on what you told me. Like, oh, thank you so much. Absolutely. Here's the link. Okay. New follower. Now we're pitching a link based on their suggestions. Now, how does that relate to your coaching company? Well, if you think about it, we want to ask questions, but the biggest difference here between coffee and fitness is insecurity. I can't come off the bat and be like, what's your goal? And they're like, it's like, what a question. Mm-hmm. Right? We can talk about the last 15 years of how I've been, X, Y, and Z. Are we talking a financial goal? Are we talking a fitness goal? Are we talking like a step goal? Like, where are we at? So when you get really granular with a binary question, it can be as simple as, hey, did you find me through a mutual friend or through a reel that you saw on the Explore page? You can ask a binary question that is, Baker, what's the one you like to use? Like,
Yeah,
are you
I
here
like
for
to-
the content or the coaching?
Yeah, so I like to start off, and it kind of tells us whether this is like a business, like this is going to be a conversation that leads to a client right now,
Setting
or
the
whether they need
tone.
more nurture. Yeah. So you basically, as soon as hey, name, thanks for following, really appreciate the support. Wanted to go ahead and ask you, are you looking for help with a specific problem, or are you just here to consume more of the content and learn? And then based on what they answer there, we know the temperature. If they say they're looking for help with a specific problem, that person is coming to me specifically because they want help with that thing that I can fix. And now we talk to them about setting up a call immediately. If they're just wanting to consume the content and they tell you that, then we could send them over a free resource and get name, phone, and email from this person. And we know that they're going to be ready to buy later probably. They just need a little bit more nurture in order to get there and trust us to want to take that step.
Okay, so that one's really good. That's what most coaches that we work with do, or that we suggest they do. Because again, it just kind of sets the tone. And so from there, we're now going to dive in to why they're here, what it is they're looking to do. And let's say they're here just for the content. Well, from there, we can then either ask them what type of content are they looking to do. Maybe I can send you over some things that will help. Maybe we can suggest and send them a lead magnet that we have to learn more about what it is we do. Maybe send them a YouTube video or a checklist that we have, or maybe join our free community, whatever it is to create a lead. And then if we are actually now going down the business side of it, where they want to learn about coaching with us, from there, we want to start diving into what they're doing that is successful and what they're doing that they're not successful at. And a great example that I typically see, and I'm just guilty of myself, is when somebody says that their goal is to lose weight. And I was like, okay, awesome. Like, well, let me see what I can do to help. How often are you going to the gym? And they're like, I'm going 6 days a week. I used to be like, okay, what are you doing at the gym? Like, well, I'm doing, legs and then back and then chest. And then I'm okay, well, how many reps and sets are you doing? I'm like, by the end of this conversation, I'm like, yeah, all that sounds really good. They're like, great. Yeah, I didn't think I needed help, because all we talked about was the stuff that they're doing things well at. Mm-hmm. Well, if they tell me you're going to the gym 6 days a week, we probably know that the gym and their cardio is like probably not their problem. Right? So from there, they're like, okay, that sounds good. I'm glad to see that we're active. We're going to instantly shift to the other side. What's our nutrition look like? Like, it's okay. Like, well, tell me more about that. What'd you eat today? And then from there, it's like, oh, today's a bad day, which tells me every day's a bad day. They're like, well, today it started off with like a skip breakfast, and now we're getting into their pain points and problems. And from there, we want to find those hot sticking points that are causing some discomfort or pain that they're struggling with hitting their goal. And from there, we want to leverage a call to get on and talk about those specific issues. One of the things that we like to use, and I actually used it yesterday, was, and it worked because it always usually does, is I can send over a 9,957 word DM if you're going to make me do that, or if you've got time, can we jump on a call for 15 minutes later today?
Mm-hmm.
They're like, yeah, that's great. And then they sent over the number immediately. I'm like, great. But really what we're trying to do is, would it make sense for us to jump on a call to talk about this? We want a yes. Great. What's your time zone? Right? The lowest commitment is, yes, I'm open to a call. The second lowest commitment is telling me your time zone. The third lowest commitment is giving me your email. And the fourth is giving me your telephone number. So after 3 yeses, now they're more inclined to give you the telephone number because they're not going to say all that and then be like, no, I changed my mind.
Yeah.
So what I like to do is find out the time zone. Great. I've got time tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern. Does that work for you? Great. What's your email? I'll send you over a calendar invite. Awesome. What's your telephone number? I'll shoot you over a Zoom link so we can chat prior. Like, give a reason on why you're gathering that data versus just like, cool, yeah, what's your name, number, and email and time zone? Then be like, well, this got really heavy really quick, right? So you want mini commitments, micro commitments to getting on that phone call. Mm-hmm. Okay. Now, Baker, in your mind, when we're appointment setting from, let's say, that new follower,
Yeah.
what are some mistakes that we typically see happen?
I think 2 things that probably happen the majority of time is we go too far down the rabbit hole of small talk, and then coaches don't know how to get that back on track. Or coaches, like, as most conversations do, and I'm guilty of this a lot, right? If somebody doesn't bug me, a lot of times I have so many notifications throughout a day. Like, if I don't answer something throughout a day, like my text, for example, I'll get a couple hundred texts, like, just waiting on me, right? And so people get distracted, things happen, they might be busy, whatever the case may be. Somebody doesn't respond, and coaches are like, well, they ghosted me, they hate me, they don't want, like I can't do anything here, like I'm handcuffed now. It's like, no, there's actually tactics that you can do to get somebody to respond as well. But I think it's too far down the rabbit hole of small talk and then not knowing what to do whenever someone doesn't respond immediately or even within a day.
Okay. So from from the small talk portion, Felicity, like, what's something that you would suggest or not suggest when it comes to the small talk? Like, what is some advice that you would give there?
Yeah, absolutely. So when it comes to small talk, I was in this exact same boat not too long ago, actually, where I was just like, how do I get these conversations on track? And the best way that I've started to learn to not go down a rabbit hole of what their favorite drinks are is to keep it to like 2 to 3 small talk questions just to get them to respond, in a sense of like micro commitments to responding to the conversation. And then once you start to get some response, you can start to pinpoint different areas in that conversation where you could start to change it into fitness related things. And then once you're able to tap into that, then you're golden, because then that's when the actual like pain points and other commitments that they have start to come out.
Like, how many conversations did you think that you had to have before the fear of somebody saying, no, I don't want to get on a call? Like, how long did that take you to finally come to that realization of like, no is okay?
Yeah. Honestly, it took me a while because I am definitely more of like that people pleaser type, but you just have to kind of get over that hump and realize that anytime you're trying to scale your business, no matter what it is, you're going to get no's, and one no is one step closer to a yes. And it's okay to get those no's. But the most important thing is like putting yourself out there. But I would say way too many, for me at least. I should have realized
I think we should write that one down for people that are listening. A no is one more step closer to a yes. So if you're afraid of rejection, then you're going to stay in the same place that you're in. Like, I want as many no's as possible because that means I set myself for an opportunity to get as many yeses as possible.
Yep.
If we always stay in this scared lane, we're not actually going to ever move the needle forward in the business. So, like, we want people to say no. Okay. Now, if everybody's saying no, then usually what's potentially happening is that we're trying to get through messages, which is another mistake that happens. So if you find yourself coming back from a weekend where you didn't do anything, right? Didn't answer any messages, and then all of a sudden you come back to like 20 messages and you're like, oh, I got to get through these. You just start shortening your responses. You start shortening the time frame of asking. And you're just like, copy, paste. You want to get on a call? Want to go on a call? Want to get on a call? And then from there, people are like, that was a little fast, or that was kind of a little out of right field. And so we typically ask either too late or too soon.
Mm-hmm.
So again, we want people to tell us no, but we also want it to be for a specific reason, not because we fell short on building the relationship.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
I think we like really kind of nailed down the new followers inside the DM. Let's talk about the lead magnet portion, right?
Yeah.
Let's say somebody joins your community, somebody joins your Facebook group, right? Now, inside AR, one of the things we do is build out automated lead funnels. So when somebody does join your community, they're going to fill out a form, name, number, email. We're going to automatically send them messages that are custom to fit your ideal audience and how you speak, whether that's hey, hi, or what's up, right? Mm-hmm. Or if you're old like me, what's up? So from there, when that conversation starts, the first thing we want to do is the same concept, who we are, thank them. But a lot of times, again, here, even when people set up automations in their business, okay, whether this is manual or not, they lead with that statement. Thank you so much for joining. Let me know if you need anything. What we always like to do when we're doing via text message is I always want to make sure you got the thing that you wanted. So breaking down a funnel, right, because a lead magnet is nothing more than a funnel, is I've got free stuff. Would you like my free stuff? Give me your name, number, and email in exchange for my free stuff. And then when I reach out to you, my entire objective is just to make sure that you got that free stuff. Mm-hmm. And then once I ensure that you got that free stuff, we're going to talk about that free stuff. And then can we have a more in-depth conversation on the phone about that free stuff and then tell you about all my other stuff? Like, it's a pretty simple concept, but most people think it's like, give me your name, number, email, buy my stuff, or let me know if you want to buy my stuff. Think, well, I'll just sell them through the emails that they're supposed to get. It's like, well, 97% of text messages are read within the first 5 minutes. Okay. The average email open rate's 20% with a 1.75 click rate, which means 2 out of 100 people click your email. So if email is your go-to, sorry, statistics say that's poor. Mm-hmm. So if we can use text message to have that conversation, you're going to be much better off. So again, I'm going to circle back. If you're the coach that says, if I can just talk to them, I can sell them, then you want to use that lead magnet to strike up more conversations. So did you get the free stuff? Great. Do you have any questions about it, or what is your goal? I want to make sure that you can use that free stuff in the right way. And you're just trying to break that conversation down. A few things we need to understand when it comes to having conversations is that insecurity goes up the ladder. So if you're the coach that says, DM me if you're ready to get started, if you're the coach that says, fill out the application now, you're asking them to take the action, right? Activating that insecurity. Well, in good appointment setting, we actually don't ask them to do anything, but just answer our messages. And gratitude goes down the ladder. So if we reach out to them, then they're more inclined to actually respond to us, because if they got your lead magnet, newsflash, they want to learn from you. So if you reach out to them, odds are they're going to respond. And what better place to do that than text message, which is the most intimate form of communication we can have. And if you don't believe me, then ladies, ask yourself, how many times have you given out a fake number at the bar? Right? So if we know that it's intimate, then we want to make sure that when we give that telephone number away, of course in AR we're using a business number, not your personal. Let's be serious for a second. But now we get to have those conversations with people, and then we're sending gratitude down the ladder, and they're like, thank you so much for reaching out. I've been dying to speak to you, aka I'm scared to death to reach out because I don't think you're going to work with me, because I need to lose 15 pounds before I have you help me lose the next 15 pounds. But I'm not going to reach out to you until that happens. So this allows us to have better conversation from there. I think the same thing applies. Okay, somebody that joins a lead magnet is a warmer lead than a new follower. So they are going to answer the questions more appropriately. We don't have to ask them, are you looking to learn about coaching? Are you looking to learn about my services? They are to some degree. We're just trying to just build the relationship, and then again, find that time in which we're going to do so. And we already have their email. We already have their number, obviously. So we just ask from there, would it make sense for us to get on a call and talk about this? Yes. Okay, what's your time zone? Great, I've got this time tomorrow. Does that work for you? Beautiful. Okay. Side note, good rule of thumb, really, really, really try not to book a call further than 72 hours out. Okay. So the reason is, and I always like to make this little joke here, is that everybody wants to lose weight when they walk past the mirror, and then they change their mind when they walk past the pantry. 72 hours is a long time from I'm ready to make a change to change my mind. So for example, how long is 72 hours? Well, let's say on Tuesday night, you're like at the gym, and then by Friday, you're like, yo, it's go time tonight, boys. It's Party City. And so you want to catch somebody when they're in that Tuesday feeling, not that Friday. Okay. There's also a big difference between like Thursday or Friday messing up, and then it's like, well, I'll just get started on Monday. And so you want to catch somebody when they're in that right moment, because fitness is an impulse purchase. People don't think about losing weight for 6 months straight, or they would just start to lose the weight. It's seasonal. It's impulse. It's when something's going on. It's when an insecurity attaches. It's when we get motivated. Because usually when somebody's looking to lose weight, the things that they're not good at are consistency and discipline. And those are the things that are required to start that journey. So we want to catch them in the right moment. And when they download our free thing and learn from us, they're in that moment. So speed to lead is crucial on this. Another statistic that'll be helpful to you to really grasp this concept. If you can get to a lead within 5 minutes of them coming into your network, you have a 40% greater chance of getting them on the phone. 5 minutes. Now we're talking like that's speed to lead, right? Automations obviously make this so much easier, right? So whenever you get that lead to come in, don't be afraid to text them. Don't be afraid to call them. That's a big one, right? Bigger, like, people like, man, I don't know what to do today. Like, you got 100 leads last week. Have you called any of them? No, I'm just waiting on them to call me back or text me back. It's like, so we're not going to take action and just wait for people to contact us. That's what we're saying here. Yeah, I guess. Let me go do the work.
Yeah, your business grows on purpose. Never forget that. You have to grow it on purpose. It doesn't just happen on accident.
That's right. That's right.
I think one thing a lot of people will forget as well is when you're creating a lead magnet, you have to have some thought of why you're creating this lead magnet. Like we'll have coaches sometimes that come to us with a lead magnet that it's like, okay, well, what conversations are we trying to start around this? Well, I don't know. Well, okay, so why did you create this? Did somebody ask for it? Well, no, I just thought it would be good. It's like, okay, that's probably an indication that this might not be something that people actually want. Okay. So you have to create lead magnets with intention as well. And you have to also map out what conversations is this lead magnet going to start? What is my path ideally from someone getting this to setting an appointment with me? For example, I think Felicity, it'd be beneficial if you took them through with our macro calculator that you created. What is the path to getting an appointment in your eyes for the macro calculator once somebody opts into that?
Yeah. Sorry. So as soon as they opt in or they fill out the macro calculator form, they immediately, well, 17 minutes later, we send out a message sending them over their macros. And then right after, we ask them a question. Hey, have you ever tracked macros before? Starting up that conversation in the right direction, which is nearly immediately. So from them filling out the lead magnet to within 20 minutes of them doing so, we're starting up that conversation to get them into a call.
Yep.
So almost immediately.
Yeah, and we're asking that question, have you ever tracked your macros before? Because most people have not. Or if they have, they've obviously done so unsuccessfully, which is why they're trying to figure out the correct macros by going through this macro calculator. Okay, so by asking that question, somebody is going to likely respond. What we're seeing, people are responding, I've tried in the past, I don't really understand it, I'm not sure if I have the right numbers. Or it's like, I don't even know what a macro is, I just saw your video and thought that I probably needed to figure this out. And it's like, oh my gosh, yeah, well, let me help you. Why don't we go ahead and just like hop on a quick call and I can talk about maybe what you're eating to hit these macros, or I can just give you a grocery list too. And then we hop on that call, and that call ends up being, if nothing else, bare minimum, that's just a free value, added value call that you're giving to this person. Okay, so if they do ever want to sign up for coaching, who are they going to come to? You, who has set their numbers for them, who has given them free value, who has given them time out of your day. On best case scenario, we end up hopping on that call and they end up signing up for coaching because you've taken this time to set their macros, you've taken this time to talk to them, you've taken this time to set up a call. And now you're walking through the actual steps that they need to get the accountability that they need to follow through on these new numbers that have been calculated for them. Okay, so that's what I mean by you need to figure out your lead magnet. What questions are they going to have, and what questions can we probe them to have from the lead magnet when they're consuming it? And then how does that result in ultimately them getting a call? You can't just throw out a lead magnet for no reason when that nobody's asked for, no one's even indicated wanting, and expect that to crush, which we see a lot as coaches are just like, well, I created a thing, everyone's going to want it, right? It's like, no, if no one asked for it, and if it doesn't have any relation to you and what you do specifically, you can't just throw something out there and expect it to work, okay? So think about that map and then also go through. That's going to help you out with appointment setting because you know the questions that you're going to ask about this particular lead magnet to get them into a call.
And one more thing to add here too is if you do not have an idea of what you should be creating as a lead magnet, go through your prior messages with either prospects or clients and see what the most frequently asked question there is, because you most likely already have the secondary questions that they're going to ask. So you can then utilize that lead magnet and be like, cool, this is now the customer journey that I am going to be utilizing. You already have history of it for this new lead magnet that you're creating. I know that goes more into the lead magnet stuff, but still really helps with the conversations.
Love it. All right, guys. For those of you guys that don't already know, we have an entire appointment setting course that we give out to everybody on AR. I think I speak for all of us when I say if anybody comments below and needs that course, we are happy to shoot you over some information on how to get it. And then also, if you're interested in our automations or working with Felicity to build out some funnels or anything like that, you can follow all that information in the description as well. Make sure you subscribe to our channel to make sure you don't miss any lives like this one that we're doing weekly or any other videos that we're just putting out that are value. We've got a sales video coming out next week that's got a worksheet and everything for free that you guys can run as well. So we appreciate you guys watching. Hope you will subscribe. We hope to hear from you guys soon.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
See you guys.
Bye.